Hey, it's Joa. I'm going to show you how you can combine my Shamrock mandala. You could use the 4-leaf clover one also. And this blank banner that I have included for your use in the alphabet band. I forget what it was named. The layered mandala alphabet banner, the whole set, so that you can make whatever you want for your each celebration. So I uploaded both of these. What we want to do first, I've purposely left these big so that it's easier to see on my screen. So I'm going to make this about the size that I think we would want it. Let me grab both of these and move them over. There we go. So once you have this, I'm going to make it just a hair smaller. There we go. So first I'm going to hide the banner using the eye. Just click the eye icon over here. And then we are left with the shamrock, which we're not going to use the whole thing. So I'm going to ungroup this. And I don't need the middle parts. So I don't need the second, the third, and the fourth layer. I clicked each one of those layers and deleted them. But this solid layer, I need to duplicate because I'm going to use that as the slice, and then it will be deleted, but we also need to build it into the other layers. So we need 4 of these solid shamrocks, and then that outline 1. So once we have all of those, I'm going to highlight all of them and click Align to the center. So I stacked them all back up. And then the last step is the very top outline. We need to have that be just a slight hair bigger than the rest of those shamrocks. And that's because when I originally designed this, I didn't have this purpose in mind. But in order to slice and then weld the pieces, that will have to be a little bit bigger than it was sliced. And right now they're all the same size. So I think the easiest way to do this is just make sure you just have the outlined hollow layer selected, and then come down here to the little arrow, and we're going to make it, like I said, just a hair bigger. So once you've made that layer just a hair bigger, I'm going to select them all again, come up to Align and Center. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to group all of them, the shamrock, and unhide my blank banner. The reason I grouped it, and it will just stay grouped for a second, is because I want to align this now where we want it on the banner. So I'm going to align it horizontally in the center, and then it gets a bit off proportion. I'll just show you. If you do vertically, it goes down further because of these points. So I think it's probably best to grab it, move it up where you would like it. I think about there. I'm pretty visual person. I don't need it to be exact. So, and then one more time, I'm going to center it horizontally. Okay. Now I'm going to ungroup both of these. So I ungroup the shamrock, but make sure we don't move them. We want them to stay in the same place. And I'm also going to ungroup the banner. Next step, we're going to concentrate first on the very top layer of the banner, which is the most difficult. So hang in there and stay with me. I shouldn't say difficult. It's not difficult. It's just there's a lot of steps, and I hope I'm not confusing you. So I've hidden all of the layers of the banner except the top, which is white. We're going to click on that and change it to a color we can see. We'll make it that peachy pink color. And then we need the outline of the shamrock and one of the solid shamrocks. The rest of these we can hide because we're going to use them with the other layers of the banner. So first we need to slice the black part, showing black here, the shamrock, out of the mandala banner layer. So we're going to click on that shamrock, and then I'm going to hold my shift key and click on the pink layer and come down here and click slice. And that gives us a bunch of slice results up here. So the first one is now a mandala shamrock that we can delete. We don't want that. And then here's the next one, is more mandala shamrock. We don't want that. This part that's kind of rectangular looking, the banner, that's the part we want to keep. So then we'll come down here, and this is the innards of the rest of this pink slice part. So we're going to get rid of that. Now you can see we are left with our green outline and the pink banner part. We want that green outline on top. And this is just because of how nodes work and behind the scene Design Space works. We need that on top because we're going to weld it to the banner, so it'll be all one piece. So we're going to highlight both of those. I was just right click and highlight, or you could shift click the layers panel and come down and click weld. Now we have the start of our banner. So let's make it a green. That's more shamrocky. So this looks great. We're going to move on to the next layers. So if I unhide the second layer of the banner, you'll see it still doesn't look quite right. So let's hide that top layer, and we're going to unhide one of the shamrocks. This is much simpler. There's no slicing and all that. All we're going to do is highlight both of those layers. So I have the two layers, the blue layer of the banner and the black shamrock, and we're going to click weld. We'll hide that, and we're going to repeat these steps for each layer of the banner, except the bottom layer solid. So of course we don't have to do that one. So I have the one black shamrock and this layer of the banner. Select both of those and weld. And then there's one last, we'll hide that so it's out of our way. One last black shamrock and the fourth layer of the banner. Select both of those and weld. One last thing that we need to do so that this will cut smoothly. Now our layers are all in the wrong order, so we will drag them back to the right order. Now it's hard to see with all these funky colors, so we'll do green. I'm just going to alternate some of these. We'll do a green, a white. Oh, that's pretty with the pink. Okay, I probably shouldn't have done white now that I think about it. I'm going to show you a little trick. So I'm going to hide these layers again and just have the top layer. If I zoom in here to, whoa, moving fast. These little tiny bits are going to be super hard to cut and could cause rips in your paper depending how small you're cutting this. So we're going to click this layer, select that layer and click contour, and this is where you can select to not cut that. So right here, this little tiny one, this little tiny one, and that little tiny one. So I've selected all those to contour it, which means that's going to be filled in. So when we go back, I just click the close, you'll see those little tiny bits are gone and it won't cut those out. So I would recommend looking at all of your layers that way. This is why I said I shouldn't have changed that white because it's harder to see. So let's change it to a color we can see. This one might cause an issue depending on the size that you're cutting it. If you're cutting it almost 6 inches wide, like I have it sized just so that it's easier to view, it would probably be okay. But if you're going to size this down to say about 4 inches wide, this is one that I would probably get rid of. Maybe this one too, just to be safe. So we will pull this up, contour that, contoured that little guy. And now you can see those two bits are gone. We'll change that back to white, just so, and then we'll hide that and look at the next layer. These are big enough. They'll be fine. These all look pretty good too. That one's not too bad. So there we go. Oops, I didn't unhighlight. Goodness gracious, I'm scrolling all over. Anyway, I hope this helps. I'd really like to know if something like this helps, because if it does, then this is something I could do more of in the future. Let me know if you have questions.